You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your Security Plus certification journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. Misconfiguration refers to security weaknesses that arise from incorrect or incomplete system settings. Unlike software flaws that stem from coding errors, misconfigurations are introduced during setup, deployment, or administration. Examples include leaving unnecessary ports open, failing to disable default accounts, or neglecting to enforce encryption. These mistakes may seem minor, but attackers look for exactly such oversights because they require no sophisticated exploitation. A single misconfigured cloud storage bucket or router can expose sensitive data to the internet. Misconfigurations are common, preventable, and often the simplest paths attackers take to compromise systems. Recognizing their impact makes addressing them a top priority in security programs. Common sources of misconfiguration include default settings, human error, and rushed deployments. Vendors often ship products with defaults that prioritize usability over security, such as open services or weak passwords. Human error occurs when administrators overlook details, forget steps, or apply inconsistent changes. Rushed deployments amplify these risks, as teams prioritize speed over diligence, skipping reviews, or hardening procedures. Each of these sources highlights how misconfiguration is not purely technical. It reflects organizational pressures and human behavior. Preventing them requires discipline, repeatable processes, and automated enforcement. Left unchecked, these mistakes persist as silent, high-value targets for attackers scanning for easy entry points. Overly permissive access controls and open services are among the most damaging misconfigurations. Granting broad user permissions just to get things working often results in accounts or services having far more rights than necessary. Attackers who compromise such accounts can cause disproportionate damage, escalating privileges or accessing sensitive data. Similarly, leaving unnecessary services active increases the number of exploitable entry points. Each open service is another door for attackers to test. These missteps undermine the principle of least privilege and broaden the attack surface unnecessarily. Tightening permissions and disabling unnecessary services significantly reduces exposure without sacrificing legitimate functionality. Configuration drift occurs when systems gradually deviate from their original secure baselines over time. This often happens as administrators make ad hoc changes, apply emergency fixes, or update systems without revisiting standards. Drift may seem harmless initially, but small deviations accumulate into significant security gaps. A system hardened at deployment may become insecure months later simply because it no longer aligns with intended baselines. Attackers exploit drift because it creates inconsistent, poorly monitored environments. Preventing drift requires both monitoring and automation. By detecting changes as they occur, defenders can restore configurations before vulnerabilities solidify into permanent exposures. Automated configuration management tools help enforce security standards and combat drift. These platforms apply policies consistently across environments, ensuring systems match hardened templates. If deviations occur, automation can either correct them immediately or alert administrators for review. This consistency reduces reliance on manual diligence, which is prone to human error. Configuration management tools also provide audit trails, documenting when and how changes are made. By embedding automation into daily operations, organizations ensure security baselines remain intact over time. This proactive approach transforms configuration management from an occasional checkup into a continuous, systematic defense against misconfiguration-based attacks. Mobile device vulnerabilities represent another critical dimension of modern attack surfaces. Unlike traditional systems, mobile devices blend personal and professional use, carry sensitive data, and constantly connect to networks. Vulnerabilities at the platform or app level can expose these devices to exploitation. Mobile operating systems may contain unpatched flaws, while insecure applications may mishandle data or permissions. Attackers exploit these weaknesses to steal credentials, intercept communications, or plant malicious apps. With mobile devices acting as both endpoints and identity hubs, their compromise often grants broad access to organizational resources. Mobile security must therefore be treated as seriously as desktops or servers. Outdated mobile operating systems and unpatched apps are major risks. Many users delay or ignore updates, leaving known vulnerabilities unaddressed. Unlike corporate servers, mobile devices are often outside centralized patching processes, relying on individual behavior or vendor release cycles. Attackers take advantage by targeting flaws with publicly available exploits, confident that many devices remain unpatched. Apps pose similar risks when developers fail to update them regularly or when users do not apply new versions. These outdated components create a predictable and exploitable ecosystem. Enforcing timely patching policies and update awareness is essential for reducing mobile device vulnerabilities. Insecure app permissions represent another vector of mobile risk. Many apps request far more access than they legitimately need, such as requesting access to contacts, microphones, or location data for basic functionality. Excessive permissions create unnecessary exposure, especially if the app is later compromised or malicious from the start. Attackers may use these permissions to harvest sensitive data, track users, or record conversations. Because mobile users often approve permissions quickly without scrutiny, this issue persists widely. Defenders must encourage app vetting and enforce strict permission governance. Reducing unnecessary access limits the impact of compromised or poorly designed applications on mobile platforms. Sideloading and unvetted third-party apps present further dangers. When users bypass official app stores to install software from unknown sources, they lose the protections of vetting, code review, and automatic updates. Attackers distribute malicious apps disguised as games, utilities, or productivity tools to compromise unsuspecting users. These apps may include spyware, ransomware, or credential stealers, silently harvesting sensitive data. Even in enterprise environments, sideloading may occur if policies are lax or employees are unaware of the risks. Preventing this requires both technical controls, such as restricting sideloading, and cultural reinforcement, educating users on why trusted sources matter. Inventory and management of mobile endpoints are essential to reduce risk. Organizations must know what devices are accessing their networks, what operating systems they run, and whether they comply with security policies. Unmanaged or unknown devices create blind spots where vulnerabilities thrive. Mobile device inventory enables defenders to identify outdated platforms, detect jailbroken or rooted devices, and enforce consistent protections. This ability is the first step toward control. Without it, mobile security remains reactive and fragmented. With it, organizations can treat mobile devices as integrated parts of their broader security ecosystem, applying the same rigor used for servers and desktops. Mobile device management (MDM) platforms provide the enforcement layer for securing mobile endpoints. MDM tools allow administrators to push patches, configure settings, restrict risky behaviors, and wipe devices remotely if lost or stolen. They also enforce encryption, multi-factor authentication, and permission controls. In effect, MDM transforms mobile devices from uncontrolled endpoints into managed assets governed by organizational policy. Attackers thrive on inconsistency. MDM restores consistency by standardizing protections across fleets. For organizations where mobile access to email, documents, and applications is routine, MDM provides the structure necessary to balance convenience with security, ensuring devices remain aligned with corporate standards. Misconfigurations and mobile exposures together represent some of the most common and measurable risks in cybersecurity. They do not always require sophisticated exploits, but instead rely on oversights, rushed deployments, or inattentive users. Attackers exploit these weak points precisely because they are easy and reliable. Organizations that ignore them face recurring breaches that could have been prevented through discipline and governance. The lesson is clear. The fundamentals matter. Secure configurations, patch discipline, and mobile device management close off the most common avenues of attack, raising the cost for adversaries and improving organizational resilience significantly. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Configuration baselines and automated drift detection provide defenders with practical tools for remediation. A configuration baseline defines the secure state of a system, including required services, permissions, and access settings. Over time, however, systems drift from these baselines as changes are made. Drift detection tools identify deviations and automatically correct or flag them for review. This prevents gradual erosion of security that occurs when ad hoc fixes accumulate. By pairing baselines with automated checks, organizations maintain consistency and reliability across their environments. Baselines serve as a contract of expected security posture, and drift detection ensures that contract is upheld over time. Secure templates and hardened images further ensure consistency in deployments. A hardened image is a pre-configured system stripped of unnecessary services, patched, and aligned with security standards. When used as the basis for new systems, hardened images guarantee that every deployment begins in a known secure state. Templates also reduce reliance on manual configuration, which is prone to human error. By embedding security into the very foundation of deployments, organizations reduce the chance of misconfiguration creeping in at setup. Hardened images act as blueprints for secure operations, ensuring uniformity across servers, virtual machines, and even mobile devices. The principle of least privilege applies as much to configuration and services as it does to users. Configurations should enable only what is strictly necessary, and services that are not essential should remain disabled. For example, a database should not allow remote administrative access unless it is a requirement, and even then, access should be limited. Overly permissive settings create unnecessary exposure, making lateral movement easier for attackers once inside. Least privilege ensures that if a misconfiguration does occur, its impact is limited. By restricting permissions and services, defenders shrink the attack surface and contain risks before they escalate. Continuous scanning and compliance checks provide ongoing assurance that misconfigurations are discovered quickly. Automated scanners probe systems for open ports, weak settings, or missing controls, while compliance checks compare configurations against established standards such as CIS benchmarks. These tools provide both breadth and depth, enabling defenders to monitor vast environments with consistency. Regular scanning transforms configuration management from a periodic exercise into an active, continuous process. By detecting weaknesses early, organizations prevent attackers from finding them first. Compliance checks also provide assurance to regulators and auditors, demonstrating that security standards are being met across the enterprise. Rollback and versioning strategies allow organizations to recover quickly from configuration errors. When changes are tracked and versioned, administrators can revert systems to a known good state if new configurations introduce vulnerabilities or instability. Rollback reduces downtime and prevents prolonged exposure from accidental missteps. This is particularly important in cloud and mobile environments, where rapid deployment often leads to untested changes. By maintaining version control of configurations, organizations avoid the trap of scrambling to diagnose and fix errors in real time. Instead, they can restore stable states swiftly, ensuring security baselines remain intact despite human or technical errors. Mobile platform patch management and app update policies are critical to reducing vulnerabilities. Unlike servers, mobile devices often rely on end users to apply updates. Without enforced policies, devices may lag months behind, exposing them to known exploits. Organizations can enforce patch cadence through mobile device management (MDM) solutions, ensuring that only devices with current operating systems and app versions connect to corporate resources. App updates must also be managed to close security gaps in widely used applications. Patch discipline ensures that mobile devices remain as secure as other endpoints, denying attackers the opportunity to exploit outdated software. App vetting, enterprise app stores, and permission governance give organizations greater control over mobile software. Vetting ensures that apps are reviewed for security before deployment, reducing the risk of introducing malicious or poorly designed programs. Enterprise app stores allow companies to curate approved apps, ensuring users install only those that meet security standards. Permission governance ensures apps request and receive only the minimum access necessary. Together, these practices transform app ecosystems from chaotic environments into controlled, monitored platforms. They reduce the chance of data leakage, spyware, or excessive surveillance stemming from unregulated applications on employee devices. Containerization and sandboxing enhance the security of mobile apps by isolating them from each other and from sensitive system resources. Containerized apps run in restricted environments, preventing malicious or compromised applications from accessing data outside their boundaries. Sandboxing enforces similar restrictions at the operating system level, limiting what apps can do even if permissions are misconfigured. These techniques recognize that no system is perfect, and that some apps will inevitably be risky. By containing risks within isolated boundaries, organizations prevent them from spreading to other apps or data, reinforcing resilience on mobile platforms where variety is high. Encryption and secure storage provide foundational protections for mobile credentials and sensitive data. Devices should encrypt storage by default, ensuring that lost or stolen phones do not immediately expose organizational information. Credentials, such as authentication tokens or certificates, must be stored in secure enclaves or hardware-backed key stores where they cannot be easily extracted. Without encryption, attackers can bypass application-level security simply by extracting raw data from the device. By enforcing strong encryption policies, defenders protect data at rest, safeguarding both organizational and personal information against compromise even when devices leave controlled environments. Device enrollment, bring your own device, BYOD, policies, and conditional access controls shape how organizations handle mobile diversity. Enrollment ensures that devices meet baseline security requirements before connecting to corporate networks. BYOD policies balance user convenience with security, defining which personal devices may access company data and under what conditions. Conditional access adds intelligence, allowing only compliant devices or verified users to access sensitive resources. Together, these measures create layered defenses, ensuring that not every device is automatically trusted. Instead, trust is conditional, earned through compliance and verification, reducing risk from unmanaged or insecure mobile devices. Logging, telemetry, and alerting for anomalous mobile behavior are critical detection tools. MDM platforms and endpoint security agents can capture logs about device activity, app installations, and unusual communication patterns. Telemetry provides context, showing how devices behave normally and enabling detection of deviations. Alerts for suspicious actions, such as repeated failed authentication, installation of unapproved apps, or unusual data transfers, provide defenders with early warning. Without logging and telemetry, mobile compromises may go unnoticed until significant damage occurs. Visibility ensures defenders can respond rapidly, treating mobile devices as active participants in the organization's broader security monitoring framework. In summary, misconfiguration and mobile device vulnerabilities represent operational priorities in modern cybersecurity. Baselines, hardened images, scanning, and rollback address misconfigurations by ensuring consistency and resilience. Patch management, app vetting, containerization, and encryption reduce mobile risks, while enrollment and monitoring ensure compliance and detection. Together, these measures address two of the most pervasive classes of exposure: human error in system configuration, and the expanding attack surface of mobile devices. While attackers will continue to exploit lapses in these areas, disciplined operational practices make success far less likely. Strong governance, automation, and vigilance close gaps before adversaries can exploit them. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.